Alright, I decided to keep all these guys at the clinic because I don't know if they're sick or there's just so many of them and there's such a motley crew. I'm going to take two of the worst ones into the vet to have them tested, and if they pop back with something, then it's safe to assume they all have something. But I don't think they're sick. I think it's stress, and all these 8 teals were kept in a cage like this, and looks like mostly females and maybe 1 or 2 males. There's a banded one in there, which I assume is the original one. I assume all the rest of them are offspring and inbred or not inbred, but I mean, they're some of the motliest crew you ever saw. Their heads totally picked, their backs totally picked. And sicknesses, I would assume there'd be other feathers gone. I haven't seen any type of, nasal discharge, sneezing, anything like that. But we're gonna get them to the vet and at least get a couple of them tested for everything to see if they come back before we adopt any of them out, just so we know for sure. And then we've had a couple active bleeders when I picked them up. That guy was bleeding, and one of these in here was bleeding. We got that addressed and dealt with. And over the next couple days, I'm trying to get these vetted. I'm going to watch this big group and see who more gets along, and try to pair them out into a cage. Smaller groups, because a lot of the stress is that there's so many of them, and teals like to be bonded into smaller groups. I think even though they're a flock animal, they like to be out. If they had a lot of room, a big flock's fine, but this cage that they came in was probably smaller than this, a little bit smaller. I don't know if I'm going to clean them up and keep them. They weren't very good cages, so I just pulled some off the warehouse shelves to use until we can see who's getting along in this cage, and I'll start dividing them out into groups of 2, I believe. And this one guy that has the band on, he's always coming up front to see what I'm doing. And this is a skittish group of birds. They all like to fly and flock whenever I move or do anything, but they're starting to get a little used to me now, and they're getting their bellies full. I don't know if they've ever seen Millet. They are mostly on a diet of Cheerios, it looked like, and it was a mess. It was a mess, but got them in a nice clean area and safe now. You guys tore up your Millet, didn't you? Then over the next few days, I'll start to see who might be friendly or they're not friendly at all. I know some of them are very vicious, and they're all scared, but some of them might adjust more to people than others. And I've got several people interested in giving some a home, so instead of it being in groups of 4, I think it's probably going to be in pairs. And we'll see how this bigger group divides out. It might be into triplets or something too. We'll just see how it goes, and next week or 2 I'll get them all to the vet and observe them and make sure everybody's healthy and all that kind of stuff. And then we don't necessarily adopt out before Christmas, but none of the people that I be giving these birds to will I worry about. They're not going to be giving them to their kids for Christmas presents. They're not going to be doing anything reselling them, nothing. They're just going to enjoy them and hopefully give them a life they didn't really get to have so much, and get to be birds and enjoy it in somebody's home. They don't have a lot of toys. I forgot to bring some from the house. They didn't have any toys in their cages, so I'm going to pick them up some toys before I come back to put them to bed tonight. Let them get adjusted and used to everything. They are a mess though. But I have to say they're probably the motliest looking crew of teals I've ever seen. But we're going to get them fixed up and give them new homes. Not the lady's fault. You could tell that everything went downhill about the time she went into hospice about a year ago, and probably didn't have a lot of help like it is a lot of times, and that's just the way it goes a lot of times. You get older, and you know, people aren't always there to pick up your slack, or people aren't always willing to ask for help if they need it, so things happen. And, I mean, she obviously loved them before things went downhill, and then it got away from her, as they typically do. And Tiels will a lot of times have large clutches, so this may all be one clutch of babies that came, 6 of them at once. And that baby mom and dad up there, I don't know. We'll have to check them out and get them observed and get them vetted, and then we'll get them on to new homes. But here they are, 12 Tiels, safe.